Hello, welcome to IT Management. This is our second part of our AI series, and the question we're going to answer here is, will AI take my job? And the short answer is probably not anytime soon. A lot of people think that programmers in particular are worried about this. It's become a cottage industry on YouTube of how AI is going to take over and take all these jobs. The cold, hard, ugly truth is right now most businesses don't have any AI strategy at all. And in businesses with computer programmers, software development, the only people using AI are the programmers. And they're using Tab 9 or GitHub Copilot, things of that nature. It's not an innate part of the business. And I'm not just talking about small businesses. Businesses as large as $50, $60 million aren't using any AI right now. And the other areas that it is being used, right now it's still mostly AI. I think in the business world, it's still to this day used mostly in advertising, trying to find out the best advertising strategies, because that's where the money is. You're spending a lot of money on an AI thing that will figure out how people buy. But in the smaller businesses, it's still pretty much done the old way, the way it's always been, with the addition of AI as kind of a helper. You can't sit down in front of ChatGPT or generative AI right now and say, write me a program to automate my warehouse, write me a program to take orders on the internet. And if you've ever done any programming, you can't go into Python and say, write me a script to iterate over these columns, these 50 columns in a spreadsheet, and rename them something more English understandable. That's not going to work. You have to really know what you're doing there. So what I think is going to happen is this is going to be somewhat similar to the Industrial Revolution. In the early days of IT, 50, 60 years ago, people were worried in the Industrial Revolution, these machines are going to take our jobs. Well, it created many more jobs. The same thing was with data. All these programs, these computer programs are going to take over all our jobs. And it did take over a lot of jobs, but it created a lot more new jobs and better jobs. There's a famous picture that floats around Cincinnati, famous in the IT world, of the telephone company and the billing clerks. And it was this huge room with a couple hundred people, and all they did was your phone bill every month. And all that was all taken away by automation, but it created programmer jobs, computer technician jobs. We haven't even touched the surface yet. Not even touch the surface on what's really going to happen with AI as this filters down. Smaller businesses of maybe just $5 or $10 million will see ways to use data to make better decisions. And you see a little bit of this now, automate manual tasks. But right now, it's still cost prohibitive. I can remember, I think it was 5-10 years ago, McDonald's down the street from us had a robot automation thing to fill your drink. It's gone. It's not there anymore. They just have to do it manually. And that could be made to work. And it's not all that difficult, but it's exceedingly expensive. It's cheaper to hire somebody and pay them. Now, as minimum wages goes up and wages goes up, that math changes, the economics change. Where now, this machine that cost $500,000, if you have to pay somebody $50,000, $60,000 a year to fill those drinks, and 7 or 8 years it'll pay for itself, and the added benefits we have, and it might be down to 3 years, then you'll see that change happen. But right now, that's still a ways away as well. And I'm going to give you a real world example now. If you've looked for a job in the last year or two, a lot of companies are using AI, these chatbots, to interview people, and even beyond that, to autofill. It's not like it used to be where you just sent somebody a resume and a cover letter and they looked at it and analyzed it. They just want AI to do all that. And whenever I do one of those that's bad, and that's probably half of them miss something. I think if we're not there yet, where it can take this document of 2 or 3 pages and parse it enough to know this is the address, this is the city, we're a long ways away from AI taking all our jobs. So there will be, what I see is probably a 10 or 20 year period ahead of us where AI filters down into the mid-size SMB market, small and mid-sized businesses. And after 20 years of that, then it will by that time, some of the generative AI will be able to program much more effectively. We'll be able to analyze data much more effectively. But you'll still have to get the data in there. So you take all that into account, and we're a good ways away from you having to make a decision on what you want your career to be. If you still want to be a computer programmer, you should do that. If you still want to be a data person, an infrastructure person, you should do that. It's nothing is going to change in the next 5 or 10 years that's so drastic that it would put you out of a job. And in fact, I think, especially on the data side, because there is no AI without data. And a lot of bad AI comes from not bad data. We're getting good at data governance, but that's only half the battle. And I run into this quite a bit with business analytics. Well, the model says this, and we know this model really works well. It sure does. But you don't have all the data in the model. Based on the 20 or 30 features you have, it looks great, but you're missing 10 or 20 data points. Well, those are only about 5% of our business. We're not too worried about that. Yeah, look back at that. That 5% is the profit of your business. That's where all the profit comes from. So, yeah, it's not a huge deal right now, I don't think. I think that there are some great opportunities coming, especially for you guys that have been doing AI in these bigger companies where you're starting to refine it a little bit and get some really good results out of it, not just in decision making, decision trees and that kind of thing, but how to actually automate tasks of document management, putting things together in the workflow of the business, that kind of stuff at the top end. When that filters down, it's going to create thousands and thousands of, not jobs, companies. You'll be able to start a company and say, I worked at this $50 billion company or $6 billion company. I'm going to work as a consultant or start a business for $50 million companies. And these won't be $5 million projects. They might be $500,000 projects. That's something, there's a huge market is starting to open up for that. Now, I think that will explode in the next 2 or 3 years. So wouldn't lose a lot of sleep about losing your job to AI in the next 5 or 10 years. There's still a ways to go. And again, I want to reiterate this. Most businesses don't have any AI plans at all. And as far as the person that owns the business or the top management, they're not even aware that it's being used in their company because it's only being used by a couple copywriters doing generative AI or trying to write copy and the programmers. So hope this was a little logic wrapper around this one. Get you to realize that the gloom and doom cottage industry is generally clickbait. It's there to scare you and get you to watch, am I going to be out of job? Fears, as I've said before, is a good motivator. And it'll motivate you to watch their videos. But it's not rational or logical just yet. Thanks for watching. And the next few videos, we're going to shift from a core part of IT management. We have 2 new sections coming up, and the first is going to be project management. I've done that for a lot of years, and I think you'll learn a lot there. Most managers are not in giant corporations. You're in smaller corporations, maybe 2 or 3 million a year to 200 or 300 million a year, in that range. And I think I can give you some good advice after doing that for a long time too. Thanks again for watching.